So we're ready to finish up the engine. So a couple of final tips, some troubleshooting if it's not working right, some things you can check, some ways you can fix some different things. First off, this should spin very, very easily. If it doesn't spin very easily, we need to figure out why. A lot of times it's because the piston inside is binding in the cylinder. Either the cylinder's crooked, the crankshaft is not quite straight, so it's trying to twist the connecting rod. We got to figure out what the problem is, okay? In this case, it spins very, very easily. So other than the cylinder or the piston, things we can look for, crankshaft and connecting rod. Is the connecting rod hitting the cylinder either up top, right here, or down below, down there? Those are two things to check. Also, the bottom of the crankshaft and the connecting rod, if our spacer plate is too high, it can crash there. Other thing to check is between the flywheel and the support right here, is it rubbing? So those are all things we can check. Some ways to fix this: if the connecting rod is wobbling and it's getting stuck, it can bind on the crankshaft if you didn't get nice sharp bends. One easy way to kind of fix it is we can take the hot glue gun and we can just put a little daub of hot glue to help hold it so it can't go too far one way. Creates more friction, so it might not spin as well, but if it keeps it straight to where it won't jam, that'll work for us. So check those things. I'm going to show you one other trick. So I mentioned in some of my other videos that ping pong ball is a little small for this cylinder. So we're going to cut it, shrink it up, and then tape it back. So I'm just going to take a pair of scissors, and it gets a little tricky with the ping pong ball, but we're just going to put a straight cut just like that, and we're going to overlap it just a hair. And we want to keep it straight. We don't want to put one side way tighter than the other, so it's tapered. But one easy way to kind of do this is, so I'm very gently holding it, and with the piston at the front, we don't want it too tight. With the piston at the back, we also don't want it too tight. So that doesn't look too bad, so I'm going to take a strip of duct tape. One of the problems with doing this is it's overlapping, so it's pushing the bottom part is going to be down more, so it's still going to have a bit of a gap in there, but hopefully less of a gap. So I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna stick the tape down really well yet. I'm gonna stick it to one side. Okay, I'm gonna overlap it where I think it's about right. Gently, I'm gonna see if it spins. So I've got a little more friction, but it still spins pretty nicely. I like that. So I'm gonna stick this down a little tighter and just give it a little try, see if it's going to work. So it's a little too tight. It does work, but it's a little too tight, so I haven't stuck this all the way down. We're going to make it just a little looser. You're going to have to play with it a little bit and kind of bounce back and forth between too tight and not tight enough. But once I get it where I think it's good, we can really stick that tape down and should be good. Whew, not getting my breath in the right spot today. All right, and if that's all we need, we're done. A couple other building tips. If you did not have a cylinder, you can create one very easily with a piece of paper. You can get the ping pong ball, you can set it in there, and we can roll the paper around until we get the right shape, or you can even start like this and drop the ping pong ball in, let it adjust, play with it. Again, the ping pong ball should be able to drop through it pretty easily, but not super loose. When you get it right, take a piece of tape, tape it over the edge, and then we can trim this down to the right size. It only needs to be as long as the support underneath. So this tube is just a hair long, not a big deal. So that's another way you can fix it. If you don't have CDs for the flywheels, you can just trace a circle on the cardboard and you can make cardboard flywheels. They work just as well. All right, so there's some things you can do to troubleshoot. Practice with the breathing, watching the base of the connecting rod, knowing when to inhale and exhale to get it to work right. And when you're done, you're going to use the rubric that's attached. It's 20 points, 5 of which is a quiz. When you grade this yourself, you're going to bring me your rubric, what you've got written down for the other 3. The last one is engine parts. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to point to different pieces and you're going to tell me what they are. For example, if I point to this, you're going to tell me flywheel. If I point to this and here, you're going to tell me piston. If I point to this dowel here, you're going to tell me connecting rod. If I point to the wire, you're going to tell me that's the crankshaft. If I point to this, you're going to tell me it's the cylinder, and the rest of it, we're going to call it either the block or the crankcase. And with that, once we've got it graded, your project is finished. You can take it home and wow your friends. Thanks for watching.